General Motors, under the amazing leadership of the true leader in EVs, Mary Barra, has revised their production forecasts, and you will not believe the new numbers. We knew the old number was 1 million, but this new one is something else. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. So joining me, as he so often does, is my good friend Mark from the Tesla Life podcast. Head over there, check it out. Link in the description. He's a lot of fun. Aren't you, Mark? Aren't you?
Oh, yeah. I'm fun.
So, yeah, it's so exciting. Now, I haven't looked past the headline, but I just saw that they revised the million production figure. This is going to be so big.
It is.
Yeah. Let's take a look and see.
Pull up the article. Take a look.
So let me pull up the article and we will see. Oh, downward is the revision. Well, that's
not supposed to happen.
Well, maybe it's a typo. Let's get into it. GM will eventually reach an annual production of 1 million electric vehicles, but when will be dictated by consumer demand. Oh, Mark, please break that down for me.
This means that GM's fantastic stable of electric vehicles is not selling the way that they thought they would or hoped that they would. They're not selling the amount. The vehicles are not compelling enough at this stage, or they're not producing enough of the compelling ones to actually get to that million number that they've been touting for quite some time.
So I love it. What you're saying is there is demand, just not for your car at that price.
There you go. Bingo.
Now I will point out that they do have this amazing Chevy Equinox, 35 grand. It's available now. Well, I mean, kind of. Not the 35,000 one. I mean, that'll be available, as of May, they said, the end of this year. June, July. Okay, so that's 2 months ago. We're running out of year, honey. And there is no way on earth that they are making this car for 35,000. Count the atoms alone. The math doesn't work.
It's the classic GM thing. You introduce a price point, but the higher end model comes out first, and the lower price model is not quite in focus as to when it will be available to the public. So there's going to be some time that you're going to wait. And unfortunately for GM, that means that some people will start to look at other models of other vehicles and may not be in the market in 6 or 12 months when the cheaper vehicle finally comes out in limited quantities.
In fairness, Tesla does the same thing. They will start with the highest priced trims and configurations. They'll give you some laser etching for an extra $20,000. But this is horse patootie. This is 43 grand is the actual price starting at. That's before you put your options on it. So I said at the time, I made a video saying, the question was, how can they afford to sell a $35,000? How can they do it? How can they sell? And I said, well, the first part of the answer is they won't. The second part is by losing tremendous amounts of money. And the third one is, well, we'll lose slightly less money by the time we actually sell that car. Because you saw it. It's a lot of car for 35 grand. You can't do it. Even Tesla doesn't sell that much car for that little money. And they did it in part by stripping out safety features, comfort features. It's got manual seats. Well, that's great. But, a lot of people have said, I'm sick of computers in my cars. And Mary said, hold my Chardonnay.
Hold my Chardonnay. Yes.
I got to be honest. I have no idea what her beverage of choice is. The automaker had set a target to produce 1 million vehicles, but we won't get to 1 million just because the market's not developing, but it will get there. Yeah, that's the ridiculous part. And Bradford Ferguson made a very good point. He said, it was either Bradford Ferguson or Matt Smith said, the ridiculous part of the number wasn't the million. It was how many models they were planning to build. Do you remember the number?
Yeah, it was over 20, was it not?
It was closer to 30. They were going to make 30 all new models, electrified EVs.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah, that's
And they were invoking the new Ultimum battery pack, which allowed them, in theory, to produce the same battery, the same type of pack, and then have different amounts to put into smaller and larger vehicles. Pack the battery differently, but using the same components to save money, which is a great thought.
It's a great
but
thought.
in practice, it's not quite working that well.
Yeah, it's the one size turns out to not fit any model, which is very exciting. You know what? The only thing I can think of that's more exciting than that, and I'm springing this on you because it's fun, is this guy here. Tesla driver has said that his car malfunctioned and started accelerating after a head-on collision with a Jeep. Have you seen this one?
No.
Oh, this is so beautiful. Good news. I've queued up the video for just this purpose. Here's the actual dash cam footage, and you can see car pulling up. Jeep Rubicon, a little out of control there, honey.
Whoa.
And then the driver does this. Boom. Little more boom. How about some boom? You know what? That hillside looks nice. I'm gonna donate my bumper to science, and now I'm going to just roll to a stop. Okay. Now this is allegedly a case of the car. The car did it all on its own, Mark.
Wow. Unfortunately, Tesla records all this stuff in their black box.
Yeah, the telemetry data exists.
That's going to be provable, whether or not they're telling the truth on this.
Well, let me hear your speculation of what may have actually happened.
I think somebody wanted a new bumper and wanted to make sure it was really damaged. So let's hit the hillside after the initial hit as well.
I think it was pedal misapplication. Because a lot of us do one pedal driving. We'll take our foot off the accelerator to slow down. And when the accident happened, the driver, in a state of panic, thought, I better put my foot on the brake. Oops, that's not the brake. Let me put my foot all the way to the floor on what is also, I assume, the brake. And that makes more sense.
Yep.
Because a car doesn't just drive off. That's not how it works. Much fun. Much fun. That's what we do here, Mark, is we wait for me to spring a video on you. Uh-huh. So, you guys, by the way, I went and saw A Quiet Place day one. That was a pretty great movie, I suspect. My Spanish is not that good, and my whisper Spanish is much worse. But fortunately, most of the movie didn't require any language at all. So it was a lot of fun. We were sitting too close to the exit door, so what we could really hear was other movies. But great movie. I recommend it. Any closing thoughts on the power that is General Motors?
Listen, GM certainly has made some strides in EVs, but unfortunately, they've overhyped what they can do, and that gets the media involved. They make these grand predictions, and too often they cannot back up the talk with what they can do. And it's unfortunate because some of the GM products out there have been good. Have been solid hits. The Bolt was successful in a number of markets. It was a cheap commuter EV that allowed people to get involved with EVs immediately at a lower price, and I welcome that to any of the markets it can be in. But unfortunately, they just talk a huge game, and it takes them a while to get up to speed. And in this case, they keep talking about 1 million, and now they're saying the market's going to dictate it, and who knows when that will be. You got to make them, and they have to be compelling. And as mentioned, they got to be priced right in order to succeed.
True statements. I do not have any hatred towards GM. Every Bolt owner I've known loves their car. They knew what it was when they were getting it. They got it, and it was that. I had a chance to drive a Bolt EUV to do a quick test drive at a ride and drive event, and it was fine. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't compelling. It was peppy. It felt like a better than average quality compact rental car I would get at an airport. It was fine. I'm more excited about the Blazer, the Equinox, the Silverado, and I have reached out to GM repeatedly, and no luck yet, but maybe when I'm older, Mark, maybe when I grow up, I'll have a chance to actually get my hands on one, see what I'm missing, see what all the fuss is about. And yeah, I do hope GM succeeds. I think they have reasonably good engineering. I think they've proven that. But what they don't seem to have is the will, and hopefully the EV incentives are able to remain for vehicles like these, because without them, GM is going to just stop making EVs for, they're going to stop taking them seriously because they're losing.
And we don't want to see that.
We
do
don't
not
want to see that.
No.
They're losing money, and they would lose more money. So I hope that that's not something that happens. So guys, in the comments, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Are you getting sick of the apartment kitchen situation? Because I'll tell you, at least the power's on, but the dryer's now dead because, and it's, who knows how long it's been broken. I'm not saying I jam pieces of plastic into the safety latch to make it work, but if I did, but guys, fix the dryer. So, yeah, what did we miss? So, do me a favor, guys. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Head over to the Tesla Life. They do some fun stuff. It's about 45 minutes to an hour once a week on Wednesdays. And then they also have shorter segments that come out sometimes throughout the week. And they're good guys. I like them one and all. So, yeah, everybody else, like, subscribe, do the usual. You know what you're doing. Stay tuned and juicy. And I cannot wait to hear from you, clever robots, in a car that drives away by itself after an accident. Full self hit and run. That's great.